Hello, this is Keith, welcoming you to the 2034th edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper, Dateline the 7th of January 2016. The readers this week are Janet, Sally, Colin and Keith, with Robin on the controls. The items that we will be reading come from our local newspapers, the Enfield Gazette and Advertiser and the Enfield Independent, under their copyright. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Ferdinand Bouillon and Harry Breur, and is performed by Jean-Jacques Perry, and is used with his kind permission. Local stories include Heist Accused Says I Was Not Paid, and We Came Home to Utter Devastation. Just one special news item this week, the Enfield Macular Disease Support Group. This group meets on the second Wednesday of every month from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Trinity Church Hall, Gentleman's Row, Enfield, EN2 6AN. The meetings are open to anyone affected by central vision loss, and carers are welcome too. For further details, please contact Alan Newson on 020 8886 5659. That's Alan Newson on 020 886 5659. If you're experiencing any problems receiving your Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. She is your listener's representative and she will be pleased to help you. That's Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. Now Janet will read the first item of local news.
A heating engineer gave a key to his padlocked Enfield office to one of the ringleaders of the Hatton Garden jewel heist, a day before a handover of proceeds from the multi-million-pound burglary is alleged to have taken place in a pub car park nearby, a court has heard. Hugh Doyle said he gave the key to Johnny, Kenny Colin, 75, who has admitted his role in the robbery, because he was looking for somewhere to store items connected with his business and his late father's home. The prosecution, however, alleged that Doyle, 48, who runs a plumbing and heating business from a converted sheep shed in a building off Windmill Hill, Enfield, had allowed his premises to be used for the handover of goods taken in the jewel raid over Easter last year. Doyle of Riverside Gardens, Enfield, denies any involvement. He told the jury at Woolwich Crown Court yesterday that any handover took place in the car park, not his premises. He said, "It's something I was not paid for and I had not agreed." However, he told the court the car park at the back of the old wheat sheaf was not a suitable place for a criminal act. This car park has CCTV all over it. Nowhere in a million years was this a good place to do something like that. He added, "I made no agreement with Collins to do anything illegal. I knew nothing." Earlier, he describes Collins as an Arthur Daly-type character. He said he used to drink with him at the Harlequin pub near Sadler's Wells Theatre in Islington about 15 or 20 years ago. He told the court he'd met Brian Reeder of Dartford, Kent, and Enfield man Terry Perkins of Heen Road, both of who have admitted involvement in the jewel heist at the pub. Under cross-examination, the prosecutor, Phillip Evans, suggested that Doyle was part of their circle. Doyle said they had been acquaintances about 15 years ago, but denied any knowledge of Reeder's involvement in the Brinksmat robbery or Perkins' involvement in the Securicor Express robbery in the 1980s. Doyle denies a charge of conspiracy to convert or transfer property between January the 1st and May 19, 2015, or an alternative charge of concealing, converting, or transferring jewellery or other stolen property between April the 1st and May the 19th, 2015. The trial continues.
A couple were left heartbroken after a car veered off the road and crashed into their house, destroying the classic car that was their pride and joy. Janet and Chris Drinkwater of Galliard Road, Edmonton, returned home on the evening of December the 27th after spending Christmas with family to find a scene of utter devastation. Their garden fence was in pieces, the bricks at the front of the house collapsed, and their trees and bushes were completely mangled, blocking their way. But the most shocking part for the couple was seeing their prized 1979 Triumph Dolomite, a family heirloom, had been struck, causing severe damage. Mr. Drinkwater had had to climb over the wreckage to get into his front door, as his wife is in a wheelchair after complications from polio as a child. He said, "It was a nightmare. We were in a state of shock when we got home. It was very tough. That car has sentimental value, and I took real pride in it. I recently spent £3,000 on it, and now it could be written off. It was my father's, James Henry. He had it from new, and I still take my mum out in it. I feel anxious. I hope it is repairable. The rear boot lid and 2 side windows are damaged, while the exhaust is hanging off. Luckily, the car saved the property. Had it not been there, it would have crashed right into our bungalow, and as the bedrooms are at the front, that would have been it. 8 years ago, just days after having their home redecorated and a wet room installed, their property was also damaged by a man crashing into the front of their house while they were out. It caused £9,000 worth of damage, but the couple were unable to shower or sleep in their bedroom for a number of weeks. They are petitioning for safety measures to be installed on their street, which they say has become a racetrack. A total of 39 of their neighbours have backed their campaign for speed bumps, bollards, width restrictions, or a speed camera further up the road. Mrs. Drinkwater said, "I was terribly upset, more so about the car. It is Chris's pride and joy. We cannot believe this has happened again. We came home and it was a scene of utter devastation." An Enfield Council spokesman said, "We will consider any representation from residents regarding this matter and decide what action, if any, is required." A 22-year-old man was charged with driving offences and bailed to appear at Highbury Magistrates' Courts.
The new shape of Chase Farm Hospital is set to be finalised later this month. After Enfield Council's Planning Committee gave the green light last month to updated provisional proposals for a new hospital, detailed plans outlining exactly how the hospital will look are due to be considered by councillors at a meeting on January the 24th, after a meeting scheduled for January the 12th was cancelled. The updated provisional plans that were signed off in December included provisions for expansion of the hospital in the Ridgeway, Enfield, in future, as well as a renewed commitment to maintaining the Highland Wing, which is the most modern part on the Chase Farm site, having been built in 1995. Enfield North MP Joan Ryan has been vocal in her concerns over the plans, which will see the overall footprint of the hospital site reduced as outlying buildings and wards are brought under one roof. As reported last year, she has warned that Chase Farm will be reduced to a cottage hospital as 16 surgical beds will be lost. The Royal Free London NHS Foundation Trust is planning to plough between £109 million and £120 million into the new development, partly funded by selling some land for housing and a school, and the first stage of construction is expected to get underway this year. David Sloman, the Royal Free Trust Chief Executive, said, "We very much welcome the Planning Committee's decision to approve the modification to our outline proposals. By giving us even more flexibility to expand in the future, these changes reinforce our commitment to deliver fantastic new hospital facilities that will provide Enfield residents and patients with world-class care for many years to come."
Here's an article about 3 local people who have been awarded MBEs. Palmer's Green resident Brian Hosier was made an MBE in the New Year's Honours for services to Scouting. He first joined the Scouts as a wolf cub in Islington in 1965 and became a group leader 10 years later. He served as District Commissioner for Islington from 1992 to 2003. He is currently chairman of the North London Scout District, which comprises Haringey, Camden, City and Islington. In 2003, he was awarded the Silver Wolf, the highest accolade given by the Scout Association. Mr. Hosier has also served as an elder at Palmer's Green United Reformed Church in Fox Lane for more than 40 years. He's also been treasurer for the church's area synod for the past 6 years, and his work includes advising 150 churches on financial matters. Mr. Hosier, 72, retired as a senior partner at the North London office of MHA McIntyre Hudson in High Road, Totteridge in 2013, but continues as a consultant for the firm of chartered consultants. He became involved with Baxendale Care Home in Whetstone through work as the home was one of his major clients. He is the home's treasurer and also secretary to the trustees. And hat hunting is top of the to-do list for Janet Leach after she was awarded an honour in the New Year's Honours list. The head of Enfield's Joint Service for Disabled Children and Cheviot Specialist Children's Centre in Cheviot Close, Enfield Town, found out she was going to be made an MBE at the beginning of December. It was a lovely Christmas present, she told the Advertiser. My son nearly opened the letter by mistake because he has the same initials. But of course I was sworn to secrecy and I honoured the tradition. I didn't tell anybody. Janet, who lives in Enfield, added that she was completely thrilled and totally delighted by the honour, which was granted in recognition of her services to children with special educational needs. She added, I'm so grateful that the work of so many who devote themselves to the service should be recognised like this. It's just wonderful. It really is an overwhelming honour. Working in children's services is always challenging. That's because of a number of factors, such as increasing needs and changing expectations, and so to be honoured like this gave me a personal lift, and it gives everyone a boost. It's wonderful for the staff, team, and for the parents and families to see that the work we do is recognised in this way. With her big date at Buckingham Palace to receive her gong still a few months away, she told the Advertiser, I will be looking to buy a nice hat in the January sales. And last but not least, School Governor Gordon Stubberfield, who won plaudits 2 years ago for his dedicated work, has also been honoured with an MBE. Mr. Stubberfield was selected Outstanding Governor of the Year in 2014 for his 2 decades of work sitting on the governing bodies of the Bowes Alliance of Schools and Debone Primary School in Green Road, Southgate. He currently sits on the Board of Governors at Southgate School in Sussex Way.
Here we have a lovely picture of the first baby born in 2016 with his little teddy bear. It was a happy snooze year for the first of Enfield's New Year Day babies to be born. The adorable bundle of joy was all tuckered out after making his arrival into the ward at North Middlesex University Hospital's maternity ward in Stirling Way, Edmonton. Little Eamon Ibrahim made his entrance soon after the chimes heralding the start of 2016 had faded away. He was the first of 9 babies to be born at the hospital on January the 1st. He was born at 1:44 a.m. and weighed in at 7 pounds 3 ounces. It was his beaming mother Sabra's first child. The 27-year-old of Napier Road, Ponders End, said, "He's a beautiful boy. His name means right hand, because that is the strong hand. When he was born, he was so tired he didn't make much noise, but now he has completely changed. He's awake at night and sleeps in the day. But I'm a proud mum, and so I don't mind at all." Her husband is abroad at the moment, so missed the birth of his son, but Sabra's mother and sister were with her. "I've shown him photos, and he's absolutely delighted," she added. To mark his arrival at the hospital as the hospital's first baby of the year, Eamon, his mother were presented with North Middlesex's mascot Midzi Bear and Layette a set of baby's essentials. Senior midwife Yvonne Matt said, "There were 8 midwives working overnight, so we were very well staffed in case there were any unexpected deliveries following the New Year's celebrations."
The council has admitted spending nearly £200,000 on an unsuccessful judicial review into a transport decision that could drastically undermine its vision for the multi-million-pound Meridian Water housing development. In September last year, the Department for Transport told rail companies thinking of bidding for the franchise through Angel Road Railway Station in Edmonton that a successful bid would not have to guarantee a minimum of 4 trains an hour. Angel Road Station is seen by the council as the main transport hub for the Meridian Water development. The local authority argued that this pronouncement from the government was, in fact, unlawful because it did not meet the assurances that council officers had been given over whether the Meridian Water development would be well served by regular fast trains into central London. The guidelines from the government to train companies hoping to secure the contract say that there must be 4 trains an hour only at peak rush hour times. The lawyers for the council appealed against the decision in the High Court last month. However, the court rejected the appeal. A spokesman from the local authority said the council had sought leave to appeal against the judgment. The promise of regular high-speed trains in and out of Liverpool Street was seen as one of the chief attractions to investors in the scheme. Initial proposals for the scheme have stressed the good transport links, which are seen as vital for attracting buyers to the high-end luxury flats to be built as part of the development. According to Enfield Council spokesman, the authority's legal bill for the judicial review stands at £190,000. We believe this is sensible and appropriate expenditure given the essential benefits a 4 train per hour service will deliver to the £2.5 billion Meridian Water development, which will provide 8,000 homes and 3,000 jobs, he said. It does not make economic sense to stand idly by and do nothing and run the risk of losing an upgraded train service to a key development which will drive the regeneration of North London for many years to come. The Council will be appealing against the judgment of the High Court as part of its continued commitment to securing the required 4 train an hour service.
Councils have been given more scope to plan for the future after a scheme to introduce 4-year budgets was approved. It is hoped the settlement makes local governments, such as Enfield Council, more answerable to local people rather than central government. David Burrows, MP for Enfield Southgate, has welcomed the decentralisation, which he says marks the dawn of long-term financial certainty. He said, "After decades of campaigning, this is a historic settlement for local government, giving local councils more power to serve the needs of local people. The settlement protects funding available for councils over the next 4 years and prioritises caring for the elderly. This settlement shows the power of devolution. Resources have been made available for local councils, and we are in a great position to provide the services local people need and continue to serve the community. As well as giving councils a 4-year budget, they will also receive 100% of business rates by 2020 to invest in the community. This will mean Enfield Council has more freedom to make best use of their reserves of £75.2 million in the local area. The settlement prioritises elderly care. By 2020, £3.5 billion will be available for adult social care distributed fairly towards local authorities with adult social care responsibilities such as Enfield.
Here is a public notice published in the Independent regarding the NHS North Central London Primary Care Joint Co-Commissioning Committee. Members of the public and staff are invited to attend a meeting of the North Central London Primary Care Joint Co-Commissioning Committee to be held in public on Tuesday the 19th of January 2016 between the hours of 3 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. in the Conference Suite, St Pancras Hospital, 4 St Pancras Way, London NW1 OPE. Copies of the agenda and meeting papers are available at www.enfieldccg.nhs.uk. There will be an opportunity to ask questions relating to the agenda at the start of the meeting, and also the chance to meet members of the committee for an informal chat at the end of the meeting. Tea and coffee will be provided. Further information is available from Kezia Bowers via email at Kezia, spelt Keziah, .bowers@nelcsu.nhs.uk, or you can call Kezia on 020 3688 1463. That's 020 3688 1463.
A woman with neurological condition has called for a rethink after she was told funding for her mobility car would be stopped following an assessment for a state benefit. Catherine Walsh, who has the neurological condition generalised dystonia, learned just before Christmas that her £290 a month funding would stop in accordance with rule changes, which will accompany the introduction of the new Personal Independence Allowance. However, she claimed that the condition, which she has had all her life, is not improving. I get uncontrollable spasms which affect my limbs, my speech and my mobility, she explained. The former police administrator, who retired on health grounds, uses the money to pay for an automatic car leased from Mobility. Without the funding, which also covers insurance and car tax, the car will have to go back to Motability. Mrs. Walsh, who lives in the Ridgeway, Enfield, said that the car was her lifeline, and letter about her benefits, which she received just before Christmas, has left her distraught. She uses the automatic car to get her about and visit the supermarket. I will be stuck indoors alone without the car, she said. I can't use public transport alone. I just want to be independent. Her neurologist has sent a letter supporting her claim, and Enfield North MP Joan Ryan has asked the Department of Work and Pensions to reconsider her case. Motability has told her it would delay reclaiming the car until February. A spokesman for the DWP said PIP is awarded on the basis of how someone's condition affects them rather than simply on the condition itself, and decisions are made after considering all the evidence. The majority who leave the Motability scheme will be eligible for a one-off payment of £2,000, which will help ensure their mobility needs continue to be met. Under DWP rules, claimants have to ask for their case to be reconsidered. If the outcome is still the same, then they can appeal against the decision.
A bumper haul of thousands of illegal smuggled cigarettes which were hidden in a safe were seized after a raid by Trading Standards and Licensing investigators. The stash of 4,696 packets containing 93,920 cigarettes, together with 35 packets of hand-rolling tobacco, were discovered by a team of sniffer dogs and their handlers who joined Trading Standards and Licensing enforcement officers on the raid on premises in Enfield Highway just before Christmas. The team also removed 1,605 bottles of beer, to be taken from the shelves until their labels are relabelled with ingredients information in English. The team also seized 297 packets of cigarettes and 67 tins of hand-rolling tobacco from a store in Ponders End. They also removed 2 bottles of wine and 6 bottles of spirits from the shelves for relabelling and approval by Trading Standards Officer. Daniel Anderson, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Environment, said, "We won't tolerate traders selling illegal cigarettes and alcohol." He warned that the products could be unsafe and might not have been treated to reduce the risk of fires. He told traders that they faced fines if they sold cigarettes and tobacco which had no health warnings on the packaging and were untaxed. Mr. Anderson added that their licences were also in jeopardy if they sold untaxed alcohol. This latest goods seizure appears to be smuggled goods which avoided tax duty and bear foreign labelling, he said. Our officers have shown great determination in discovering these goods, which are now subject to further investigation. Investigators seized CCTV to help them identify anyone involved, said Mr. Anderson.
Residents are being asked for their views on a new artificial football pitch proposed for Enfield playing fields. Enfield Council is hoping to secure money from the Football Foundation to install the artificial grass pitch on the playing fields off Sketty Road. The consultation document, which is available on the Council's website, www.enfield.gov.uk, says that the proposal stems from a need to address a deficiency of artificial grass football pitches within the borough and to help develop grassroots football within Enfield. The consultation questionnaire also says that the idea for a new pitch supports the Council's wider public health objectives. The new pitch would be floodlit on winter evenings, safe from flooding and waterlogging, and fenced off from the rest of the playing fields. Cabinet Member for Environment, Daniel Anderson, said the local authority was hoping to press ahead with the idea in a bid to promote football among the borough's residents as a way of staying healthy. He added the pitch would provide both community use and higher opportunities for local sports clubs, and should additional money be generated from the facility, it would be invested back into the borough's sports pitches. We are currently seeking views on the location of the new pitch and would like residents to get involved by completing the consultation questionnaire.
We have now reached the end of side 1 of this tape. Please stop your machine now, take out the cassette, turn it over and start side 2.